So today I want to go over a couple of interesting things I've just seen lately. Specifically this one post that talks about the further DLC. It goes in depth about the Datamined information, the stuff about the extra slots in like World of Light and things like that. I just thought it was a really interesting post, definitely worth highlighting, so I want to go over that one today. Before I get into that post, first, I just want to go over a couple of theories a lot of people are talking about that I don't exactly subscribe to myself. So first off is this Smash acronym theory. Basically what it's saying is that the DLC fighters so far, if you look at the companies that they come from, it's almost spelling out Smash. So we have a Square character in Hero, so there's the S. We have a Microsoft character in Banjo-Kazooie, there's the M. We have Joker as an Atlas character, so there's the A. And then we have Terry Bogard as an SNK rep, so there's the S. And so putting those letters together, we get SMAS, which almost spells Smash, except we're missing a character from a company that starts with the letter H to complete the word Smash. Now there are, of course, some companies that start with the letter H that could get characters in Smash, such as Hale or Hudson. However, I really don't think this theory is onto anything. I think this is probably just a big coincidence. I think it would be kind of crazy of Sakurai to have planned out the Fighter's Pass based on just creating an acronym with the companies that he's working with to spell Smash. Seems very unlikely to me. There's also a problem with the fact that we have Joker being represented by Atlas and not Sega, the parent company of Atlas. And we have Banjo being represented by Microsoft, the parent company of Rare. So it feels like if you're going to put Atlas as the company that Joker's coming from, you should put Rare as the company Banjo's coming from. Otherwise, you have to put Sega as Joker's company, or conversely, if you're going to put Microsoft as the company Banjo's coming from, you should put Sega as the company that Joker's coming from. It just doesn't really make sense to me which companies they've chosen. It seems a little reaching. And then the other theory I see being talked about a lot that I don't really personally subscribe to, though I will admit this next one, I could see it panning out, I just really think it's more of a coincidence, if anything, is color theory. So color theory is essentially that each of our DLC characters has an assigned background color associated with them. Joker got red, Hero got this purple-violet color, Banjo and Kazooie got yellow, and when Terry was revealed, we can see that his background color is blue. If you're curious about Piranha Plant's background color is green. You can see that over on the website. So the idea with color theory is that the 5th DLC fighter for the Fighter's Pass will have a background color that hasn't been used yet. Most people are assuming it's probably orange, so that leads them to characters like Crash Bandicoot, who admittedly could show up in Smash and could have an orange background associated with them. I just also think it's just as likely that someone could show up and have a different shade of red behind them or something, or a dark blue, or, you know, anything could really happen here. I think it's totally possible that our final DLC character for the Fighter's Pass will have an orange background. I'm not banking on specific characters based on this, and I think it's just as likely that this pattern could get broken by a simple different shade of colors. There's only so many colors to go by, and we're kind of running out of them at this point, and if there's going to be further DLC, those characters will probably get background colors too, and they'll probably just be different shades of colors. So while I think this one might pan out, I'm again not really subscribing to it or thinking it's going to guess at a certain character for us. Lundcraft over on my Discord did point this out. I don't know if you heard this, but when it comes to color theory, orange is one of the colors not there yet, and well, ... And then there's 2 pictures of Doom that have a lot of orange. It's a very prominent color on the cover of most Doom games. We'll note this is something they mentioned on Smashboards. So I already mentioned how Crash is associated with orange, so that could fit, but it could also fit Doomguy as well, and Doomguy is definitely one of the front runners as far as who our final DLC character could be here. There's a lot of evidence in favor of Doomguy. Now, having a bunch of evidence pointing towards a character's inclusion in Smash doesn't always end up with that character included in Smash. Here's a post with a bunch of evidence laid out about Doom's chances. First off, Doom 2016 was ported to the Nintendo Switch. Number 2, Doom Eternal had a gameplay reveal at QuakeCon 2018 and confirmed it was coming to Nintendo Switch, as well as other platforms. Number 3, the Metro interview with Pete Hines, in which, when asked if he had spoken to Nintendo about Smash, he replied, "Oh yeah." That's certainly one of the best pieces of evidence for Doomguy getting into Smash. There was an interview with Bethesda where they were asked specifically if they had talked with Nintendo about Smash, and they just cryptically answered, "Oh yeah," and we've all just kind of been waiting to see if anything Bethesda shows up in Smash. Number 4, Doom 1, 2, and 3 have been ported to Nintendo Switch. Number 5, during the interview with Marty and Hugo from idsoft at QuakeCon 2019, when the mention of Smash pops up when asked in what other franchises they would like to see the Doomslayer featured in. Number 6, Doom 64 announced for release during the September 4th, 2019 Nintendo Direct, with Pete Hines himself doing the announcement. Number 7, Doom Eternal and Doom 64 both launch on the Nintendo Switch on November 22nd, 2019. This date is important because remember that Terry Bogard was announced for a November release, and it is highly likely that the DLC fighter number 5 will be revealed after his gameplay presentation. The timing would be perfect to draw on the attention of Doom/first-person shooter fans who still haven't approached Smash Bros. Ultimate into buying the game and the DLC, while others not too familiar with Doom might be drawn to give the series a try, buying the games. Win-win for both Nintendo and Bethesda. Number 8, the most recent piece now, with Doom Eternal being advertised in the midst of the Tokyo Game Show 2019. And I'll add to this that there is now a 25th anniversary Doom Pro controller for Nintendo Switch. So while having accessories for something on Nintendo, such as that Overwatch case, I don't think points to a character definitely being in Smash, it's certainly another piece of evidence in Doomguy's favor. We also recently got some new evidence that Lloyd from Tales of Symphonia could potentially be coming to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Scott Menville, the original voice actor for Lloyd, recently tweeted this: "I wish I could tell you about this cool voiceover project I've been working on, but they had me sign an NDA, non-disclosure agreement, or as I like to call it, a nope, don't ask." Basically making a joke about how he really can't say anything about what he's been working on. Characters for Smash are obviously a highly sensitive topic, so that's something that this could be for. Scott Menville is also very famously the voice of Robin on Teen Titans, so it could just be for something Teen Titans related or possibly something else. He is just a voice actor. It could be for basically anything. It does not have to be Smash related, but the fact that he has voiced Lloyd in the past, it could be a little bit of evidence towards Lloyd getting into Smash, as Lloyd is already a pretty highly requested and highly theorized character for Smash. Also, Scott doesn't always do voice work for video games. However, a few days before that tweet, he tweeted this: "I suck at playing video games, but I have a blast acting in them. Hashtag National Video Games Day," and then a picture of him doing some voiceover work. So this could just be a tweet in general about video games because it was National Video Games Day, but it's also possible this could be hinting at him doing some voiceover work for a video game in particular. Possibly the one he had to sign a non-disclosure agreement about, which again could potentially be Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and possibly Lloyd Irving. This is all highly speculative. If this was a hint at Lloyd in Smash, this actually isn't the first time a voice actor has said something like this. Back during Smash 4's speculation cycle, Adam Howden, the voice of Shulk, wrote a tweet that also hinted at his involvement in Super Smash Bros. If Scott Menville is in fact doing voiceover work for Lloyd in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, I would assume Lloyd might be a further DLC character after the Fighter's Pass. Just personally, I feel like the 5th DLC fighter for this Fighter's Pass, their voice work would probably have already been recorded, but that is just speculation on my part, and really all of this is highly, highly speculative, so no guarantee at Lloyd whatsoever, just something interesting in his favor. Okay, so theories I don't exactly buy into, and characters that could be frontrunners for this 5th Fighter's Pass DLC spot aside, let's talk about this post that I want to highlight today. So there have been 2 interesting pieces of Datamined information that could give us an idea of how many characters we might actually get in total for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Now, full disclosure before I start talking about this stuff, I'm not a data miner. I'm no data mine expert. So whenever I talk about data mined information, it's secondhand information. I'm hearing this, either it's been posted on the internet somewhere, or some data miner has claimed it. I am not able to look at this information. I'm going off of what I'm being told. So today I'm going to talk about some data mined info, but keep in mind, I'm no expert on this stuff at all. I'm just speculating based on what I've heard. So the 2 further interesting pieces of data mined information we've known about for a while now is that supposedly there are 30 spots on the character select screen past the base roster that data miners found. So 30 spots for further characters. Now that we know we're getting DLC past the Fighter's Pass, it seems like this might be worth looking into. I had first heard about these Datamined 30 extra spots on the character select screen back in, I think, November. So it's been a while we've been hearing about this. And back then it really felt like it was just, in case they want to add more fighters. Just giving themselves a big number of spots that they probably wouldn't fill up all of them. Then a little while later, a data miner found that in World of Light, they had added 16 dummy spots, one of which was filled up with Piranha Plant. So then another 5 for the Fighter's Pass, and then 10 more mysterious spots in the World of Light code. Now, after the announcement of further DLC beyond the Fighter's Pass, 10 more characters doesn't seem outside the realm of possibility the way that 30 more fighters after the base roster felt kind of crazy huge. Now, there's a post that's been floating around lately that takes the 30 character select screen spots and the 16 dummy spots in World of Light and kind of sheds light on what might be going on with both of those and kind of makes sense of how actually both of those could come to pass here. So I first saw this from Macaluso over on my Discord, and they wrote this. Saw this over on the Source Gaming Discord. Don't know if it was posted here. Not exactly a leak, but worth thinking about with regards to the extra World of Light slots that were data mined. So here is the post. It's from Pokey Frico Bacon, and it says, in Smash 4, there were empty character IDs in the code that were found as soon as the game released. It turns out these were meant for the DLC fighters. At launch, there were 9 character IDs in Smash 4's data. Later on, an extra one was added that was empty. By the time all of the DLC fighters released, every single one of those slots were filled. Bayonetta took up 2, Cloud took up 2, Corrin took up 2, and the other 4 characters each took 1, for a total of 10. You can pretty obviously infer what a character ID is from that alone. But if you can't, a character ID needs to be separate if there's anything different at all in the programming. The most obvious example of this is characters with an alternate version for 2 genders, such as Corrin or Wii Fit or Robin, etc. This also includes alternate designs, such as Cloud's Final Fantasy VII/Advent Children skins, or Bayonetta's designs from both games. To give you a better idea, Bowser Jr. takes up 8 character IDs, 1 for each Koopaling. In Smash Ultimate, Hero obviously takes up 4, and Joker takes up 2. Piranha Plant does not take up 2, despite having a pot for some skins and a pipe for others. This is likely because the changes don't have any additional effects or real processing changes. Okay, so the really interesting takeaways here is that Smash Bros. 4, so Smash Wii U and 3DS, actually had these dummy slots in it as well, and they all ended up getting filled up. Of course, they also added, apparently, an extra one before all things were said and done. Originally, I guess 9 were seen, and then there were 10 total at the end. But all of those slots were filled up. The other interesting thing is that those slots are filled up by the alternate costumes of certain fighters. So having 10 slots didn't mean 10 characters, it just meant that that many spots would be filled up by the end with different alternate costumes. In Smash Ultimate, again, unused empty character IDs were found in the data at launch. Exactly 29 of them. You may have heard it was 30. That was incorrect. There were exactly 29. I counted them myself. In this case. After Piranha Plant and Joker released, and they filled up as many of those slots as were expected, it can be inferred that the other 26 would be filled up too. We're now at 22 after Hero. Okay, so I had always heard it was 30, but again, I'm no data mine expert. I never actually saw that. I was going off of what other people had said. So according to this person, they counted it and there were 29, not 30. Also, this seems to be written before Banjo came out, so what they're saying here is that Piranha Plant took up 1 spot, Joker took up 2 because of his alternate costume, and Hero took up another 4 because of all of his alternate costumes. Separately from the character IDs, after Piranha Plant was released, they added a function to put DLC fighters into the adventure mode, World of Light. When Piranha Plant was put in this way, he brought 15 unused slots to do the exact same thing. These 15 slots are different from character IDs, as they specifically mean characters. They're used for unlocking the character in World of Light, so alt skins are not a factor here. Okay, so basically that data about the 16 dummy slots that came with Piranha Plant, if you add Piranha Plant in, and then you add 5 characters for the Fighter's Pass, there's 10 more after that. Those are the spots they're talking about here, and those are for characters themselves, unlike those other character ID spots, which also count alternate costumes. While there is no real precedent to say the 15 World of Light slots are definitely going to be used, there is a precedent to assume the 29 character IDs will be used, because they were used in Smash 4. Smash 4 was made by the same programming team, and thus would likely follow similar structures and rules for how they do things. Since 29 character IDs is quite a lot, you could assume we get at least 10 to 15 characters just to keep everyone at an average of 1 to 3 character IDs each. 1 to 3 being the amount of alternate costumes these DLC characters would have on average. This lines up really well with the World of Light slots, of course. In other words, 15 DLC characters after Piranha Plant actually fits really well if you give them each an average of like 1 to 3 alternate costumes, for also lining up with the 29 spots of character IDs that would actually incorporate those alternate costumes in filling that full number count. Keep in mind, all of this is just information directly data mined from the game. Below is some speculation on what this likely means. Okay, just to be clear before I read these final couple paragraphs in this post, the rest is speculation. The stuff I just talked about is actually, data mined factual info. The rest here is just going to be speculation, but I'm going to read it just to complete the post. Piranha Plant was likely meant to be in the base game of Ultimate, judging by his Palutena's guidance and some other things. I would agree with that. I think Piranha Plant having a Palutena's guidance, whereas none of the other DLC fighters have that, pretty much implies that Piranha Plant was meant to be in the base game, and they probably just didn't finish him in time. They also gave us Piranha Plant for free if you bought the game at launch and stuff, so yeah, it makes sense to me Piranha Plant was probably supposed to be a base roster character. This would mean the original plan was likely to have all DLC be part of a Fighter's Pass, and thus multiples of 5. We can pretty safely assume from this that more than one Fighter Pass has been planned since before Ultimate was released. I'm a little less on board with this piece of speculation here. One problem I have with it is that I think we might be getting individual characters and not a full Fighter's Pass again, simply because I think Sakurai isn't huge on the blind purchase nature of Fighter's Passes, but hey, we could get that. I'm also not necessarily on board that all of this was planned out beforehand. I think that maybe they gave themselves the wiggle room to fill all this out, but I really don't think they had Fighter Pass 1, Fighter Pass 2, Fighter Pass 3, etc. Planned out from the start. I think they probably just gave themselves enough spots if they wanted to continue DLC, and now they have decided they do want to continue DLC. But that's just my speculation versus this person's speculation, so who knows what the real answer is. Because the World of Light slots could mean Echo Fighters, and because planning out 15 full unique fighters around 2 years in advance seems ridiculous, it's very likely, at least in my opinion, that at least 5 of these World of Light slots belong to Echo Fighters. My personal theory is that we're going to get a second Fighter Pass that has Echo Fighters bundled in instead of stages. That's about all there is to say on it, I guess. Once again, I somewhat disagree with this speculation. While I do think Echo Fighters happening is totally possible and probably will happen, I don't think that what we're definitely getting here is one more Fighter Pass, and each of those 5 characters will all have an Echo Fighter and thus 10 more characters, and that's how it all works out. It could happen like that, but I don't think we have enough information to really lock down that that's what we're getting. That seems very speculative in my opinion. Okay, so those last little bits of speculation aside, the really interesting stuff here is how it sheds some light on that Datamined info. The dummy spots in World of Light's code, which would be 10 more after this Fighter's Pass, being for individual characters, whereas the apparently 29 and not 30, 29 spots for character IDs on the character select screen are for characters and their alternate costumes, could actually line up really well, and that could mean we're getting 10 more characters after the Fighter's Pass. 10 more characters fits really well on a couple of things, such as the character select screen in more than one place in Smash. Considering Smash 4 had a similar thing going on with the character IDs and they ended up all getting filled, it's totally possible that these 29 character ID spots could get filled up as well as these 10 World of Light spots. So here's a good visual of what we're talking about. And yeah, I know each of the further DLC says Challenger Pack 5. I just copy and pasted a bunch. So there's 10 spots after the Fighter's Pass that are in World of Light. And then we have 29 spots for character IDs after the base roster. And character IDs are filled up with alternate costumes. So here we can see Joker having 2 and Hero having 4. Now, we don't actually know if Terry has any alternate costumes, but it's totally possible he could. There's a couple of decent choices for alternate costumes for Terry. And then our 5th DLC character could also have alternate costumes. In fact, some of our very likely characters, such as Doomguy or Ryu Hayabusa, have pretty good options for having 2 alternate costumes in a similar way that Joker does. If this sort of thing continues on for 10 more characters after the Fighter's Pass, yeah, that actually lines up pretty well. That could fill up all 29 spots perfectly and not be that crazy. Like 10 more characters, some of which have alternate costumes, filling up all these spots. It could actually potentially happen here. Now, personally, I don't think this is all set in stone, like definitely planned out. Keep in mind, that post even mentioned that Smash 4 added a spot. They originally had 9 and then it went to 10 before it all filled up. So adding more spots or potentially not filling all these spots could happen here. And I don't think they were totally sure of what they were going to do, you know, during the base game or before the game was released or something like that. I do think they have just decided to give us more DLC fighters, but they may have always had an idea or an estimate of around what they're going to shoot for. And it's also possible that they've given themselves a set amount of spots to play around with, so they may just fill that up and then be done with things. Either way, I thought that post was very interesting, sheds a lot of light on what's going on with that Datamined stuff, and honestly, it's super exciting to me that the possibility of 10 more characters after the Fighter's Pass isn't just, you know, a wild possibility, it's actually potentially somewhat likely given what we know. So given this potential for a lot more characters, the real question is, which characters are we going to get here? Personally, I don't really think anybody's off the table anymore. I think spirit characters will almost certainly show up, at least 1 or 2 of them, and I even think the possibility of assist trophies being upgraded into playable characters is totally in the realm of possibility here. A lot of characters that became assist trophies had a lot of fan demand, such as Waluigi, Ashley, Isaac, Shadow. A lot of people really wanted those characters, but they became assist trophies. So is it possible they could get upgraded into playable fighters? I think it is. There's a group that's been supporting this idea for a while called the Assist Alliance. And if you too support the idea of assist trophies or related deconfirmed characters, stop by the Assist Alliance. They are examples of Smash fans who fully believe there are ways for them to become playable. And I'll leave a link to their Discord and their Smashboards page in the description of this video. I don't personally know just how likely it is for an assist trophy to get upgraded, and if it does happen, I do think it'll be a small number of them, something like Waluigi just getting upgraded because there was such a fan demand, but I do think it's in the realm of possibility now with these further DLC characters. And there's also some precedents already to shut off certain assist trophy characters when something else is going on. Alucard, for instance, doesn't show up on the Wii Fit stage, I think because the stage has a big mirror and Alucard is a vampire, so Sakurai is just being true to the lore there, that vampires shouldn't have reflections, so that's the kind of detail Sakurai will do, but it shows that assist trophies can simply be shut off when other parameters are met. I will also point out that Alucard actually does have a reflection on the Fountain of Dreams stage, so I'm assuming this was just overlooked by Sakurai if the reason for not having him show up on the Wii Fit Studio stage was because of the mirror. But there are other things in place as well, such as certain Pokemon not showing up when they're on a stage where that Pokemon is in the background. So the idea of, say, Waluigi becoming a playable character and then the assist trophy just can't show up while he's selected, totally in the realm of possibility. Same with Shadow, Isaac, Ashley, etc. Anyway, that's all the stuff I wanted to talk about today. Hopefully that post gives everybody a better idea of what's going on with that Datamined information. In my opinion, I think it's totally possible we could get 10 more characters after the Fighter's Pass, and their alternate costumes could simply fill up those 29 spots of Character ID code. I actually think that's pretty likely to happen right now. So if you guys have any thoughts or comments about any of the stuff I talked about in this video, leave them below. So once again, thank you guys for all the subscribes, all the likes. It really helps out the channel. So if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do so, or like the video, or leave a comment, whatever you want. Until next time, have a good one.